But don't forget, don't take chance. Social distancing is the key. And tell everybody, stress at this, everybody can catch COVID-19. So make sure you keep yourself safe all time. DJ Stress Cessor, all right? Take care.
More ways to watch, so much to see. You can have it all with your Dream TV. Get a package from eNetworks, it's what you've been waiting for all your life. eNetworks Dream TV, it's cable like in paradise. Dream TV satellite, it's countrywide. Watch shows on the go with Dream TV mobile. High definition television fit for any budget, give it a try. Today, eNetworks Dream TV, it's cable like in paradise.
If you have to have it, flying every day from the USA. Get your cargo in the fastest way.
Habit has established a relief program by offering 2 reward points on air freight charges. Each $1 on air freight cost gives you 2 reward points, which can be used as credit anytime to further reduce your freight costs. Habit has convenient payment options at commercial banks or GTT Mobile Money. Contact us at Echoes 233-2496 or 98, Fogarty's Mall 231-9578 or 79, or www.hubinternational.net, Facebook or Instagram.
So if you have to have it, really must have it, have it.
The number of people worldwide who've died from coronavirus-related deaths has...
Henry, this thing is really something, eh?
Carol, some people not even taking it seriously. It's like they're not valuing their own lives.
You know, the Ministry of Health starting back with the Filaria campaign in February. And this is another opportunity for people to be serious about their well-being.
I wonder if this would help ease off the COVID-19.
These are Filaria pills.
Oh, so this campaign is to eliminate filaria.
Yes, Henry, that's the main thing. Everyone must take their pills.
And wash your hands and wear a mask too?
Yes, Henry, you're now catching it. In fact, everybody in Mass Drug Administration will be wearing a mask and sanitizing their hands according to the COVID-19 guidelines.
Well, it's Ministry of Health now, so they know how to do it.
Take your pills and prevent filaria. A message from the Ministry of Health in collaboration with PAHO WHO. We share because we care.
His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali will address Parliament on Thursday, February 11 at 14 hours. Join this station for live coverage of this historic event.
Visit Fazia's Collection Auto Spares for the cheapest prices on the best quality new and used spare parts for your vehicle. Get spares for Nissan, Toyota, Honda, Ist, Premio, Allion, Spacio and more. Transmission, engine blocks, radiators, alternators, bumpers, fenders, doors, bonnets, trunks, headlamps, grills, front and back windscreen, window glass, backlights, dashboards, filters, water pumps, injectors, rack end, steering end, shocks, front and back hubs, horns, compressors, mirrors, front and back cut, server, engine mount, flooring, and lots of other new and used accessories. It's Fazia's Collection Auto Spares, located at 11 Anacasarana Public Road, West Coast, Demerara. Telephone 641-0646 or 661-1950.
$1 saved is $1 earned. That's why we at Andrews Supermarket are committed to offering our valued customers quality products at prices that allows them more than just the basics. Located at Aubrey Rock in Festival City entrance, our convenient parking, spacious aisles, courteous staff, and ever-growing assortment of grocery items will make your shopping experience unimaginable. Shop at Andrews Supermarket and save big. Call us on 218-4657 or 645-0723. Amazing savings at Andrews Supermarket.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Hi guys, guess what? New arrivals at Tons of Fun Party Service. Wilton cake and wedding products. From various sizes of tips to cake pans. And for that very special day, from garters to toasting glasses. Come check us out today or call us on 231-1154. Come in to us on 37 Cummings Street.
Welcome to Kisum's Furniture. Find everything you need for your home and more under one roof in our newly decorated showroom. Our locally crafted furniture has been perfected over the last 60 years. From our hands to your home, we also bring to you our newly introduced lines of imported furniture and sleep center, where you can find a wide range of beds and mattresses. Kisum's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 60 years.
For over 15 years, Lifan motorcycles have been the best mixture of durability and affordability in the Guyana market. Whether you're looking for on-road or off-road journeys, you can rely on Lifan to take you there easily with low fuel consumption and comfortable riding. Enjoy 1-year warranty, affordable parts and service, and an array of free items when you shop Lifan motorcycles. Available at General Marine, Courts, Lucky Dollar, and authorized dealers.
Get your advertisement on 93.1 Real FM. Your customers are listening to it. Reach them by calling us at 218-5092 or 218-5093. It works. Advertise with 93.1 Real FM. 93.1 Real FM.
Oh, na, 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 girl. Yeah, 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 we know. No long talk when we come to wine. When we come to wine, girl. No long talk when we come to wine. When we come to wine, girl. Take it over, you know. When you wine, all heads turn when your waistline bump. Look over, you know. Cause it looks so good. The dance turn over, you know. I don't mind you whining for yourself. Bring it over, you know. Cause you whine so rude. And I say no long talking. When we whine, when we whine, when we whine. Only slow dancing. Bring it back one time. Baby say no long talking. When we whine, when we whine, when we whine. Don't stop, girl, it's just my time. Like how you roll double time. Sing, girl, you got the wine. Don't waste your time. Hey, girl, I'm tired of the lip service. You got the wine. Don't waste your time. Hey, girl, I'm tired of the lip service. You got the wine. Don't waste your time. I'm tired of the lip service. Why nobody, girl, move those hips? When you wine, see my heart start skip. So me say, come closer to me, closer to me. Skin raise when I touch your body. Come closer to me, closer to me. DJ play, girl, wine your body. Come closer to me, closer to me. Yeah. Skin raise when I touch your body. Come closer to me, closer to me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Girl, I'm sober, you know. When you wine, it goes up to my head. Can't get over, you know. Cause you wine so good.
Some people find love without a face. Some people find love.
93.1 Real FM.
Some people find love in carnival.
93.1 Real FM.
I'm glad I found. Oh na 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 na, eye contact. Oh na 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 na, I like that. Oh na na na, you come over. Oh gosh no.
What do you call more than one L? That's the first riddle. We're gonna wrap that one up really soon. Get watches, cologne, cell phone, stand fans, and accessories at eWireless Connections. Stall A Border Market opposite the Border Post Office. eWireless Connections time, it is now 13 hours 37. Es la 1:37. Great news! Qual Van Guyana's $30,000 Jumpstart Your Career bonus has been extended. Learn how you can take advantage of this offer during your over-the-phone interview with them. You can become a part of their superior team of customer service representatives by visiting their Facebook page, via text message link, or skilledguyanese.com. What do you call more than one L? That's the first riddle, and in just about 2 minutes, I will tell you what the answer is. I like letters and elves though. Those are pretty creative. Shout out to Stacy and Trilby. Good afternoon to Carol and the family. And of course, I want to say happy birthday greetings to Franklin Mingo, celebrating over the weekend. From your loving wife Sharon and the children.
Touch because we stay blessed up. Let them burn their back candle. Can't reach because we send prayers up. I am forever humble. Give thanks every day I wake up. I mean, say when you have a party, watch out for them. Watch out for them. I say watch out for them. When you go out on the road, still watch out for them. Watch out for them. I say watch out for them. All on the workplace, watch out for them. Watch out for them. I say watch out for them. I say they all in your circle. Well, if you're blessed, then you know so you can't do it not one thing. 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 Can't do it not one thing.
I want to know who sent you. I wanna know who put you up to this. Hey, I want to know what you're up to. Say what you're up to. Is this for real or you're playing tricks? I blocked the road to my heart, girl. How did you get here? I locked the door to my soul, girl. How did you get in? Yeah. Wait a minute. I got to compose myself. Cause oh no, I can't control myself. Oh no, I'm falling for your love. I'm falling, baby, give it to me 'cause I can't get enough. I'm falling, I'm falling, oh no, yeah, oh have a little money in the pocket 'cause I just got paid. I could do it a little more, but I'm still irate. So now I'm stepping out to a party. Trouble when I link up with my friends and family. Man, anywhere we go, we mash it up. We rip it up, we mash it up. Girl, them a fi bubble and them a fi back it up. Everybody see we and they say we acting up. We just living, mash it up. We rip it up, we mash it up. Girl, them a fi bubble and them a fi back it up. Everybody see me and they say we acting up. So I'm gonna take a little drink and I'm gonna do what I want. And I'm gonna wine if I feel like. And I'm gonna live how I want. Hey, so I'm gonna take a little drink and I'm gonna do what I want. And I'm gonna wine if I feel like. And I'm gonna live how I want. You don't know the vices. Work hard, be harder. 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 Work hard. Look at
Tonight is your night. It's your world, baby. Do as you like. Why now you please me? Do as you want to be tonight. Have your way with me all night. Carry on, baby. Carry on, baby. Tonight is your night. It's your world, baby. Do as you like. Why now you please me? Do as you want to be tonight. Have your way with me all night. Carry on, baby. Carry on, baby. Carry on. Wind it up. And when I shake it up, oh, you like that, yeah. And when you bend it up,
Good afternoon, Nicola Peniston. Hi, Rhonda Thom. All right, ladies, you guys and gals have been trying really hard today, and well, actually not that hard, but you got it. You got everything going on. What do you call more than one L? The answer is a parallel. Yes, Trilby. All the mathematicians, they know it. Shout out to all of you who love a good math riddle. The coronavirus is serious. Reduce the risk by washing your hands regularly with Industrial Mac Pearlized Hand Soap. Industrial Mac Pearlized Hand Soap is available at Farfan and Mendes at a price to suit your budget. Take COVID-19 serious. Protect your family and customers by washing and keeping your hands clean with Industrial Mac Pearlized Hand Soap from Farfan and Mendes. Get a chance to win a free divan when you purchase any Restonic, Serta, Sealy, or Sleep On It mattress, and even save up to 20% on selected mattresses. Plus, get any size at one price on selected Serta, Sealy, and Sleep On It mattress only at Quartz. Offer ends February 28. Quartz, bringing value home. Enjoy 10% discount by purchasing your motor insurance from Hand in Hand online. See Facebook for more details. Hand in Hand time. It's just about 13 hours 44. Coming up after the news update at 14 hours, we're going to get into the president's address at Parliament. So stick around for that update.
Come put it on me, girl. You want it rough now? I wanna get inside your midsection. I wanna get the gal a injection. I wanna get inside your midsection. Girl, so long, gal, I want it. Get inside your midsection. I wanna get the gal a injection. I wanna get inside your midsection. Girl, so long, gal, I want it. Give me the work, with the work. Give me the work, with the work. Give me the work, with the work. I come for this work. Sign me up. I come for this work. Sign me up. I come for this work. Sign me up. I come for it. Boss lady, I come for this work. Sign me up. I come for this work. Sign me up. I come for this work. I never work it properly. I wanna sign my signature, cross my T's, cause I have all the requirements that you need. My resume, flawless, suitable, diverse, reliable. If you're hiring, I just want to go to work. Boss lady, I come for this work. Sign me up, I come for this work. Sign me up, I come for this work. Sign me up, I come for it.
93.1 Real
I come for
FM.
this work. Sign me up, I come for this work. Sign me up, I come for this work. I never work it properly. Could have been one shot of liquor or the whole case of liquor. Whole team little and we mash it up proper. Party real nice, yeah, the party look good. What about now? Take a shot for the road. Boom, bam. Now we
Real
take
FM.
one for the road. Boom, bam. Now we take a shot for the road. Boom, bam. Now we take one for the road. Party look nice, yeah, party look good. Boom, bam. Now we take one for the road. Boom, bam. Now we take a shot for the road. Boom, bam. Now we take one for the road. Party look nice, yeah, party look good. Now we go down by the Juve. Plenty rum and gal by the Juve. Behavior think my team lit. Party car done, my team lit. One shot of rum, one for the road. Party look nice, yeah, party look good. Boom bam, now we take one for the road. Boom bam, now we take a shot for the road. Boom bam, now we take one for the road. Party look nice, yeah, party look good. I don't want no one woman. All I want is plenty woman. Give me plenty woman. I don't want no one woman. All I want is plenty woman. Give me plenty woman. You know why them girl, them does, them man, them does. I don't want one girl, two girl, three girl, four, five girl, six girl. Give me more. 5, 10, and 20 more. I just want them more. I don't want no one woman. All I want is plenty woman. Give me plenty woman. I don't want no one woman. All I want is plenty woman. Give me plenty woman. Digga dinga dinga ding danga danga day. Say we yeah. Dansez, dansez, dansez with me, baby. Fini danser avec moi. Comme tes Khalil dansez. Dansez, dansez, dansez with me, darling. Fini danser avec moi. Comme tes Khalil dansez.
I know you're rough if you could manage it. That thing they good. I know you're rough and you're tough and you're rude, but that thing it good. You feel you could handle it. That one day it good. They said no, they crime is now wine, a boy, the thing good. You feel you could handle it.
Nobody can stress me. Happy, happy, happy. My life is happy. Happy, happy, happy. I'm more than happy. I am living it up, and I'm singing it now. I'm not giving it up. So we don't have no time with them if you feel it. Baby, I put my hand round she waist, push she in and bang, 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 badang, badang, bang. I put my hand round she waist, rock back on his bang, 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 badang, badang, bang. Y'all come for the favorite shot, y'all bend for the favorite shot. She like it from the side, she like the front, right down back. Is she favorite shot? Y'all come for the favorite shot, y'all bend for the favorite shot. She want it on the spot, sometimes from top, but back is she favorite shot.
Whole day I'm looking to work it up for you, but you didn't have time to study me. You didn't have time to study me. Right through I was only trying to line with you, but you didn't have time to study me. You didn't have time to study me. So you could keep on your talking. Don't try tell me nothing. I don't want no friend on the road now. I don't need no friend on the road now. So keep on your talking. Don't come tell me nothing. Take your wine and move it along now. Take your wine and done. One and done. One and done.
Happy birthday greetings going out to Beverly Constantine of Bartica. Getting greetings from your niece Orpa and the family. Wishing you all the best today. Do enjoy your birthday, Beverly Constantine.
That is all you need to.
Shout out to all of you on the outside locked in. Hope you're having a really good Thursday. Avoid the hassle of parking. Visit or call Diamond Insurance on 223-9771-3 for all your insurance needs. Diamond Insurance times 13 hours 50. Coming up after the news update is the president's future as he addresses Parliament.
So here's what
Stick around for that.
Rewind of the century. I'll give you something to remember me. I want you to feel my energy.
93.1 Real FM.
Rewind of the century. No, you will never forget me. We don't know it.
Enjoy the music from 93.1 Real FM, the people's choice.
I just buy this cell phone from the wireless connections. So when I'm not at home, you can reach me on my cell phone. Instant activation. Now wireless connections. No need to despair. They service and repair. All brands of cell phones. Call 227-3404. So they board the market. Opposite border post office. Wireless, wireless, wireless connections.
Never on Sunday? Of course you can have them over on your dining table every day of the week, especially Sunday. Sun-dried tomato salad dressing and sun-dried tomato ketchup. 2 all-natural, authentic, indigenous people's products from Pacoima Flavors. Made from organically grown tomatoes to bring life to your salads and great taste to your every meal. Pacoima Flavors, sun-dried tomato ketchup and salad dressing. They're wok pong from the mountains and now on the shelves of Bounty supermarkets.
ExxonMobil, Hess, and CNOC International, Stabbert Block co-venturers launched the Greater Guyana Initiative, a 10-year voluntary commitment of more than $20 billion Guyanese dollars to expand ongoing capacity building efforts, increasing economic growth and development in Guyana. The Greater Guyana Initiative represents a long-term commitment to Guyanese and aims to strengthen the local workforce, increase competitiveness of local businesses, and lay the foundation necessary for sustained economic growth. To learn more, visit www.greaterguyanainitiative.gy.
His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali will address Parliament on Thursday, February 11 at 14 hours. Join this station for live coverage of this historic event.
Fazia's collections, we have a wide variety of cosmetics such as the MAC brand, Revlon, LA Girl, Black Opal, L'Oreal, Kiss, Black Up, Sleek, Classic, Naked, Clinique, NYX, and lots of other brands that you know and trust. Foundation, eyeliner, mascara, concealer, face powder, makeup kits and face cleaner, moisturizer, facial mask, face wash, facial cream and anti-wrinkle facial cream, and loads more. Contour palette, eyeshadow, eyeliner, eye pencil, blush, lipsticks in a wide variety of shades and colors, nail polish and nail polish remover, glitter and more, fix-it spray, setting spray, face primer, lip primer, eye primer, setting powder, and loads more. Check out Fazia's collections at America and Longden Streets, Georgetown.
When you want to look and feel your best on the most important day of your life, there's only one place to shop: Chantal's Exotic Creations. For all your bridal gowns, necklaces, bridal gloves, bridesmaid bouquet, fresh and silk flower, hand corsages, cake toppers, unity candles, knife sets, and bride and groom glasses. For wedding invitations, favors, or tokens, we offer great selections. Also offering decorative services for any occasion. Visit 25 2nd Street, Albertown, Georgetown, or call 227-5536 or 223-0504. Chantal's Exotic Creations is the place to be to satisfy your every need.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
For over 15 years, Lifan motorcycles have been the best mixture of durability and affordability in the Guyana market. Whether you're looking for on-road or off-road journeys, you can rely on Lifan to take you there easily with low fuel consumption and comfortable riding. Enjoy 1-year warranty, affordable parts and service, and an array of free items when you shop Lifan motorcycles. Available at General Marine, Quartz, Lucky Dollar, and authorized dealers.
If you have to have it, have it. Flying every day from the USA. Get your cargo in the fastest way.
Habit has established a relief program by offering 2 reward points on air freight charges. Each dollar an air freight cost gives you 2 reward points, which can be used as credit anytime to further reduce your freight costs. Habit has convenient payment options at commercial banks or GTT Mobile Money. Contact us at Eccles 233-2496 or 98, Fogarty's Mall 231-9578 or 79, or www.habinternational.net, Facebook or Instagram.
So if you have to have it, really must have it, have it.
The management and staff of Guyana Public Service Cooperative Credit Union Limited thanks you, our valued members, for your continued support. It is because of your commitment to the credit union that our past year was successful, despite of the global challenges. Our loans and other services are available Mondays to Fridays from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., even as we observe all COVID-19 protocols. For more information, please contact us on 227-5856. Like and follow us on our Facebook page at Guyana Public Service Cooperative Credit Union Limited.
Welcome to Kisum's Furniture. Find everything you need for your home and more under one roof in our newly decorated showroom. Our locally crafted furniture has been perfected over the last 60 years. From our hands to your home, we also bring to you our newly introduced lines of imported furniture and sleep center, where you can find a wide range of beds and mattresses. Kisum's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 60 years.
dollar saved is a dollar earned. That's why we at Andrews Supermarket are committed to offering our valued customers quality products at prices that allows them more than just the basics. Located at Aubrey Rock in Festival City entrance, our convenient parking, spacious aisles, courteous staff, and ever-growing assortment of grocery items will make your shopping experience unimaginable. Shop at Andrews Supermarket and save big. Call us on 218-4657 or 645-0723. Amazing savings at Andrews Supermarket.
Have lunch at Herdmanson Lodge's Daily Lunch Buffet. Come and experience our diverse selection of culinary delights, Mondays through Saturdays from 11:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. for only $2,500. Follow us on Facebook at Herdmanson Lodge or call 225-0808 for daily menu details. We're located at the corners of Peter Rose and Namaha Street, Queenstown, Georgetown. Herdmanson Lodge, as sweet as it gets.
Play Classic 7's The Blast Gaming Center time. It is now 14 hours. My name is Latoya Wills with the news in 93 seconds. In Guyana, Vice President says no tax increases in budget 2021. President Ali says GDF to be boosted to monitor exclusive economic zone and borders. Berbice man gets life sentence for rape and murder of boy. Electricity for 27 Blairmont families within 45 days. Drilling at Omai project begins. Dr. Dookie performs life-saving surgery on woman diagnosed with large, deep brain. Over 100 youth graduate from CSSP job readiness training. And gender, providing support for victims of gender-based violence. CBC online training starts March 1, says Minister Manikchan. In the region, Election Day in the Cayman Islands moved forward to April 14. Grenada holding steady in CPI 2020 report, and no variant of COVID-19 in Suriname. Internationally, Russia has vaccinated 2.2 million. China says goodbye to the year of the rat, and pandemic pushes hospital waits in the UK to record high. In sports, Cricket Zone USA supports Speakers Cup International Softball, and West Indies women Selman and Connell join Super 50 commentary panel. That's the news at this time. Special credits to DPI Newsroom, iNews Guyana, LoopNews.com, Star News, CNN, NBC News, and BBC. For these stories and more, visit realfmgy.com.
It's 93.1 Real FM.
We will now join the Parliament for the President's address.
About the process, something important as we move on. All right, so we are just about nearing 14 hours, and I'm beginning to get the signal that we will be going upstairs in just a little bit. It's just after 14 hours, actually, so we can continue the broadcast. You are joining us. We are live at the Arthur Chang Conference Center as we get ready to bring to you the address by His Excellency, his inaugural address, Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali, to the Parliament.
Definitely so, Mark. And while we await His Excellency's ascent, if you will, to the Dome here at the Arthur Chang Conference Center, where we would usually have the National Assembly being held, we will welcome to our set our Editor-in-Chief, Liron Bramel, who will be sharing his thoughts as well, because Liron, you're going to be having a pretty interesting, possibly intense and detailed conversation in a short while with some very notable and as well experienced and knowledgeable persons in relation to what is happening today. Give us some insight into how things are coming along with that.
Oh, well, thanks very much, Narissa. It's interesting being here today. It's going to be an interesting discussion. What we are going to be having, in essence, is the President making an address. And of course, I know you would have outlined the theme for the President's address to the Parliament today. His first is made an address. So what we will do is an analysis at the end of it. I've got a panel of Governance and Parliamentary Affairs Minister Gail Teixeira coming in, as well as somebody coming in from the private sector, and I've got an economist in Sydney Armstrong from the University of the West Indies, head of that Department of Economics. So what we're going to do is, in essence, look at the measures, look at how it's likely to impact, look at what it's intended to achieve from that discussion. So immediately after the president finishes, of course, I know you and Mark take over back the discussion to get the initial reaction, but we sit down and do an intense discussion. And of course, you know, Minister Teixeira is an experienced parliamentarian, well-versed also in the crafting of the manifesto and the policies of government going forward. So it's going to be an interesting discussion. We are expected to wrap up our broadcast at about 5 p.m. this afternoon, if that late. But we're just gearing up for in case there's an overflow in the discussion. As said, as we're waiting on the president at this stage to make his way into the Parliament chamber, the Dome, to have a discussion, to have his maiden address. We're expecting him to speak maybe about 30 minutes, no more than an hour in his address. I'm guessing it's going to be the same speaking time as most of the MPs in Parliament.
Yeah, and you know, with a theme such as a united pathway to prosperity, Liran, from your seat there in the newsroom, having all the news circulating have there been any indications of how this address may lead, especially based on recent speeches or notes coming from the president?
Well, let's throw a mind back to what government has been saying. Just about a month, 6 months, less than 2 months into his presidency, an emergency budget was presented. Earlier this week, Vice President Dr. Bharat Jagdeo gave an insight into what we should expect to hear coming in the budget on Friday and what the president is likely to announce today. It is a continuation of the manifesto. Of course, you could not finish everything in 6 months. A lot of the plans are short-term, some are medium, most are long-term. If we talk about energy, we're talking medium to long-term in terms of landing pipelines along the Wales, Estate Wales foreshore area. And then, of course, you've got Crabwood Creek in that discussion, of course. So it's going to be really a continuation of what would have been started, of what the PPPC government would have campaigned on the election trail. And, of course, promises are usually converted into policies for any government.
And, you know, one of the things I think two persons should lean on is the fact that when His Excellency speaks, people listen. And not just people, but also his members of government and as well, too, members of parliament, because you have members of parliament who are not necessarily part of the current government, the current PPC government.
Well, that's interesting because it comes back exactly to what you asked the question a moment ago. What exactly is the unity in there? It's just not a word that's being said, and the government has more or less been trying to be inclusive in all of its discussions, inviting civil society, inviting members of the opposition, private sector, manufacturing sector, everybody to the discussion, because that's in essence how you are supposed to plan and forecast for a country. Having the full support from everyone, from all sectors of society, that way you capture most of what is expected to be said, what is expected to be done in terms of making the lives of your citizens easier.
Yes, and you know, what are your thoughts on His Excellency's arrival, inspection of the Guard of Honor, the pomp and ceremony that we saw with him arriving to make his maiden address?
I'm smiling behind the mask. You can't see it, so you might see my eyes squint a bit.
Your eyebrows.
It's interesting, you know. It sounds as though it's not anything to have a discussion of, but if you're on location, you see, you feel the energy that the military puts out, and then you become patriotic. It raises that a bit of adrenaline inside of you. You get goosebumps hearing the anthem played, the pledge being recited, and then of course you've got drum roll, and of course the explosion of that bass drum that almost scared us out of our seats while they were doing the rehearsals yesterday. You know, to me, it's an exciting feeling. Not everybody gets the opportunity to see it. We try to capture it in what we do as a media organization, as a state organization. But to be here, to feel part of it, and then to see the precision at which this is executed, it's an amazing feeling. I mean, I couldn't ask for more in terms of looking at what our military have been able to pull off. It's an interesting feeling.
And I think ceremonially or ideally, another thing with it is the fact that you have, as I would have discussed earlier, you have the mention too of the realities of still our disagreement, I'll leave it there, with the Venezuela, and more so with regard to President Maduro's perception with regard to his right to a piece of our territory. And then you look at the unified pathway to prosperity. For us to truly have prosperity, we must have that sovereignty, we must have that sense of patrimony that this is ours, and more so that we're going to celebrate it as citizens. Now, to have an occasion where our 9th executive president comes to Parliament to make an address, and he ensures he takes the guard of honor, and you have that resounding response and the emotion that we feel, I think truly when we talk about pathway to prosperity, there is definitely going to be great things on the horizon with regard to that disagreement.
Well, it's interesting we have that discussion, because I'm expecting to hear something about Ghana moving forward as one on it. And the interesting thing about that is that we have held, when I say we as a people have held one head, as the locals would say, or we've held one position going forward. And it's interesting to see that, because here we are, a controversy was settled in 1899, and then 63 years later, it's dug up. Here's what happened. About a week ago, government through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs engaged the members of the media to see how we can get the message out. The entire Venezuela thinks that part of Esquil belongs to them. As we speak now, the president is making his way up to the Parliament chamber to give his maiden address. That is going to be an interesting. He is ascending the stairs, 3 floors up to the dome. If you've never been here at the Artichon Conference Center, 3 floors in, he's going to make his entrance in through, those are the pictures you're seeing there. He's going to make his entrance through the same one used by the speaker, that is reserved for the speaker. And then he sits just around that area where he will be invited to make his address. Those images you're seeing, of course, coming to you compliments of NCN, as well as a collaboration with the Department of Public Information, and using a bit of technology to get there. A little handheld camera that you thought could not be able to bring you that video before. The president will make his way into the chamber at this stage.
And now we hear the address as we go to the chambers.
Your Excellency, honorable members, please be seated. Your Excellency, the President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali, honorable members, Your Honor, Madam Chancellor, Madam Chief Justice, Excellencies of the Diplomatic Corps, esteemed judges, distinguished members of our society, and special invitees, fellow citizens present, and those joining us via social media, good afternoon, and welcome to the National Assembly. To the Excellencies of the People's Republic of China and the Chinese people, I say, I hope I don't say it wrong, Gong Hei Fat Chai, Happy New Year. I wish everyone riches in this year of the ox, representing strength and sustainability. Honorable members, by virtue of Article 51 of the Constitution of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, and I quote, "There shall be a Parliament of Guyana, which shall consist of the President and the National Assembly," unquote. Article 65, subsection 1, further goes on to say that, and I quote, "Subject to the provisions of this Constitution, Parliament may make laws for the peace, order, and good government of Guyana," unquote. Parliament may be deemed as being the legislative arm of government, with traditional functions such as representing the electorate, making laws, and overseeing the government by way of hearings, committees and inquiries, the act of members being able to table questions to other members, usually on the other side of the House. In a democratic society, members of Parliament are nominated by their respective political parties. However, it is the electorate, meaning, in ordinary layman's language, the citizens and the people of Guyana, who elect their representatives by the simple act of placing their respective ballots in a national election. The intention of Chapter 103 of the Laws of Guyana, titled the Representation of the People Act, is to make provisions for the elections of members of the National Assembly under a system of proportional representation. Today, honorable members, amongst us is a man who not only served as an elected member of Parliament, sitting on both the government's and the opposition sides of the House, but also as chair of the Public Accounts Committee and co-chair of the Economic Services Committee. His progression includes sitting as a member of the National Assembly to that of a Minister of Government, holding portfolios such as housing and water, tourism, industry, and commerce, and at separate times performing the functions of President and Prime Minister. Having been continuously gaining the confidence of and being elected by the citizens of Guyana to serve them for some 15 years and counting, his experiences, qualifications, and leadership skills have spoken for itself. During his tenure in this honorable House, commencing in 2006 and culminating in 2020, wherein of August of that year, he was elected by the majority of the people of Guyana to serve as their 10th president. While the president does not sit in the National Assembly as an elected member therein, Article 6 to 7 of the Constitution stipulates in subsection 1, and I quote, "The president may at any time attend and address the National Assembly," unquote. Further, subsection 2 states that, and I quote, "The president may send messages to the National Assembly, and such messages shall be read at the first convenient sitting of the National Assembly after it is received. The Prime Minister or any other minister designated by the President," unquote. A presidential address in Parliament is an extraordinary event, which has been historically documented since the 31st of March 1970, almost 50 years ago, when the then first Executive President of Guyana, the late His Excellency President Arthur Chung, addressed the National Assembly. This tradition continued through the decades, which includes the 9th President, His Excellency David Granger, addressing the 11th Parliament. Therefore, it follows that today, honorable members, this House is honored to be addressed by the man who has made history as being the first Muslim president of this country. It is my distinguished honor to introduce to you His Excellency, the 10th President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, Dr. Muhammad Irfan Ali, in his first address in the capacity to this 12th National Assembly. Honorable members, special invitees, people of Guyana, I introduce to you His Excellency President Ali.
Thank you very much. Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly, Chancellor of the Judiciary, Honorable Prime Minister and Leader of Government Business, Honorable Vice President, Honorable Members of the National Assembly, Your Excellencies of the diplomatic community, the Honorable Chief Justice, Chief of Staff, Commissioner of Police, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. The eyes of the people of Guyana are upon us, all of us, me as President, ministers of the government, and you, the members of the National Assembly, from every political party here represented. The people of Guyana are waiting to see what we'll do with their affairs. Will we serve their interests faithfully, every one of them, regardless of race or creed? Will we deliver the good governance and accountability each of us, each political party promised? Will we strive to make their lives better, as all of us pledged to do? For me, our nation stands at a crossroad in its history, particularly after we endured an alarming period of uncertainty when our democracy was threatened at home and place of respect was imperiled abroad. The path before us, as already embraced by my government, is to lead to a better Guyana, where its bountiful potential will be realized, and from whose bounty we ensure every Guyanese benefit. For me, as the 9th executive president of our beloved nation, there is no doubt of the path my government and I have chosen. It is a path that celebrates the collective wisdom, strength, and character of our Guyanese people. The very people who stood up fearlessly in defense of democracy. The very people who sacrificed much in bringing our country together, regardless of race or political persuasion. For those who choose an alternate path, you too will be held accountable. But I assure you, such a path brings nothing or adds nothing to the Guyana we want to build. All of us gathered here today are summoned by the spirits of our ancestors who labored in its cause. Their voices have called us from the depths of our nation's past to govern this land at an extraordinary time of our people's history. And those summons, those calls, have not been made to the government representatives alone. They've been made to all who serve in the National Assembly as representatives of the people, regardless of their party political support. The people of this nation elected the parties represented in the Assembly. They want us to be partners in serving the country, not adversaries in pulling it apart. That is not to say that they did not expect us to disagree, or that they did not anticipate that we would differ. But they do not expect us to differ at their expense or to disagree to their detriment. They put us all here in the same ship of state. They expect us to navigate it through calm seas and turbulent waters alike, and to take them to a heaven of progress, prosperity, and peace. To do so calls for political maturity that puts at all times the national interests and the people's welfare above all else. The success of our nation depends on it. None of us should let our nation down. In the words of our national poet, Martin Carter, and I quote, "Like a jig shake saloon, like a web is spun the pattern, all are involved, all are consumed." Our most acute challenge is a national emergency we face, tackling the ravages of the COVID-19 pandemic. The coronavirus has taken a toll on our economy, substantially reducing the projected growth in our gross domestic product forecast by the international financial institutions for this year. In human terms, the immediate economic impact of the pandemic, which necessitated the closure of our borders and the shuttering of many businesses, is a hardship that has been visited on the most vulnerable in our society. The elderly, single mothers, and children are the worst affected. Their situation demands our immediate and intense attention. They have suffered for too long already. And my government is determined to move decisively to improve their condition. I assure you, no resources will be spared in this effort. But it is as a public health emergency that the silent cruelty of the fearsome disease has been most brutal. The consequence is that so far, we have endured the anguish of 8,023 confirmed cases and suffered the loss of 181 lives. All of those lives mattered. Some of them would have been the sole breadwinners in families, now left to struggle, not only with the pain of their loss, but with the strain of no livelihood. And that is why tackling COVID-19 is my government's most pressing priority. Safeguarding the health of all must be our highest priority. Amongst the actions we took is the mobilization of regional, national, and international support, while supporting the livelihoods of families with direct cash and food transfers. We also implemented various measures through the central bank to help small and medium-sized businesses, in particular, to cope with the economic fallout of the pandemic. We have supported frontline workers, our children's education, and created an innovative environment for economy and governance systems to continue. Whilst we continue our fight to contain the virus, we are aggressively pursuing every avenue that will lead to the complete vaccination of our population by the end of the year. I assure you, no resource will be spared in this effort. I remind this Parliament that our nation suffered 5 long months of fear, anxiety, and nervousness, waiting for the results of general elections, a circumstance caused by those who put themselves above the law and their political greed over the well-being of the people. In all that time, no budget was presented for consent, no borrowing was authorized, and no spending approved. In defiance of the law and the rulings of the highest courts of this land, the previous administration arrogated power unto itself, spending the taxpayers' money with no authority and no legitimacy. This must never occur in Guyana again. That is why constitutional reform to guarantee a democratic Guyana will receive priority attention based on a national consultative process. My government will introduce in the National Assembly a bill to authorize such a consultative process by an independent body. Lawlessness must never be tolerated in Guyana again. Contempt for the people must never ever be allowed in Guyana again. Over the last months, feverish and difficult work has been undertaken to put before the National Assembly a full budget to address the myriad challenges that confront the nation. Since its installation, my government has encountered huge issues of transparency and accountability, of cronyism, of waste, and of fraud. Unemployment is much higher than the nation was led to believe. To fix this grim situation, we need to move now, and we need to move swiftly. We are faced with what Barack Obama described as the urgency of now. We want our factories humming with production. We want our people back at work. We want our businesses turning profits and investing in new and expanded enterprises. We want a Guyana that rises like the fabled phoenix from the ashes of neglect, spreading its wings and soaring proudly to the heights that should long ago have been its perch. And we want every Guyanese to be part of that rising, sharing in its transformation and its resultant benefits. This is no young man's dream, nor is it an old man's vision. It is a reality within our grasp as a nation, and we need it, and what we need is the will to seize it together. And that is what I invite every Guyanese, every man, every woman, every child to do. As the President of Guyana and the head of government, my credo and the credo of this government and the credo of this government is nation building. The key word of my government is oneness. The essential character of my government vision is inclusion. Stop being defined by race, stop being defined by politics. Start being defined by our one nationality and by our common love for our one country. Let us lift it up together. And by doing so, let us lift each other and ourselves, one people, one nation, one destiny. I propose to give meaning to my call for one Guyana by requesting the leader of government business in the National Assembly, Prime Minister Brigadier the Honorable Mark Phillips, to introduce the adoption of an Act of Parliament establishing a One Guyana Commission which he will head. As the great philosopher C.L.R. James put it, and I quote, "A nation is built not on abstraction, but on tackling and solving the problems which occupy its people." The purpose of the Commission should be to try to do just that in relation to the practical steps we can take to cement our one society, encompassing and respecting the diversity from which our oneness springs. The work of the Commission would be countrywide, and it would listen to the free expressions of all voices concerning ways in which every Guyanese can honor their ancestral heritage while giving the highest regard to our blended Guyanese civilization. Among the matters which it would address includes education concerning our history, our religions, how we ensure equal opportunities for education, employment and entrepreneurship, and institutional strengthening of the existing Ethnic Relations Commission to make it more effective. In all of this, we must be guided by the wisdom of Nelson Mandela, that, and I quote, "No man is born hating another person because of the color of the skin, or his background, or his religion. People must learn to hate. And if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love. For love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite." End of quote. We must move our nation building from abstraction to action and lose not one more moment in doing it. Let us stand up for our one nation, our one Guyana. Let us stand up for what we know in our hearts and in our minds to be right. Let us stand up for one identity, the Guyanese identity. I say a special word about our Amerindian Guyanese community, the first people of our nation. They and their ancestors have been in Guyana and of Guyana longer than any other community in our society. Throughout the lands of what is now the Americas, from Canada in the north to Argentina in the south, the indigenous people suffered historic injustices, including colonization by European nations, dispossession of their lands, and prevention from developing in accordance with their particular needs and interests. In our one Guyana, the Amerindian community occupy a special place as our forest people. This is a circumstance we must never forget and must always honor. They deserve the respect of all of us, for in their indigenous knowledge, culture, and traditional practices that contribute to the sustainable development and informed management of the environment that we all share and from which we all benefit. Over the next 5 years, while my government is tasked with the responsibility of managing our country's affairs, we are determined to improve the lives of our Amerindian Guyanese communities through a range of measures that we'll implement. These include updating the Amerindian Act after consultation with every Amerindian community, as well as improving education, health facilities, housing, and infrastructure development in the areas in which they live. The culture of the Amerindian Guyanese is a golden thread in the rich tapestry of the common civilization that we have collectively fashioned for almost 2 centuries. All of us should be proud of it, treasure it, and celebrate it. We must do all in our power to strengthen their status and their contribution, thereby enhancing not only their community, but our one nation to which each group is integral and from which no group is divisible. Mr. Speaker, honorable members of the National Assembly, we are at an unprecedented time in our nation's history. We stand together on the cusp of what can be a new economic era of prosperity in which all will share now and from which future generations will benefit. But let us not fool ourselves that this new economic era will happen without our collective effort, that it will happen without our national unity, that it will happen despite ourselves. There has never been a greater moment when we as Guyanese need to stand as one to secure the benefits of our natural resources and to protect our sovereignty, the right to make decisions in our national interests and our territorial integrity. Regarding our territorial integrity, the threat from our neighbor Venezuela has not receded, simply because the International Court of Justice has ruled that it has jurisdiction in the matter and is proceeding to adjudicate the merits of the case before it on the Guyana-Venezuela contention, Guyanese-Venezuelan contention. We all know that recently, Guyanese fishermen were arbitrarily arrested and detained by the Venezuelan military while they were operating in waters of Guyana's exclusive economic zone. This demonstrates that the threat is an ever-present danger, even as we pursue a path of settlement by peaceful means through international law. In respect of our sovereignty, the right to make decisions in our national interests, while the prospect for wealth from oil and gas is now real, it could dissipate if we fail to take the necessary steps to ensure that Guyana's interests and its rightful income are safeguarded. Our nation is dealing, for the most part, with giant companies in the oil and gas industry. This is uncharted territory for us, but we'll have to map the way that leads to the best circumstances for our country. For sure, we will need expert advice based on sound knowledge and robust experience of the industry, including operating agreements, concessions, laws, and regulations to promote good governance and prudent management of the oil and gas sector to make sure our people benefit. But above all else, we need every Guyanese united as one to stand in defense of our rights and entitlement. Guyana's sovereignty and territorial integrity must be the nation's constant unified watch. It is this patriotic duty every Guyanese must stand up to be counted. Every political party, every trade union, every business organization must stand up and be counted. This National Assembly must stand up and be counted. Mr. Speaker, let me be clear. My government wants a cooperative partnership with the companies now licensed to operate in the oil and gas sector of our economy. Leaving oil and gas in the ground is not an option. It cannot be an option when their production and sales can transform the economy of Guyana, bringing in considerable revenues that can be utilized to dramatically improve the lives of all our people. We must also acknowledge that we cannot take advantage of our oil and gas resources without the considerable investment of the companies now operating in the sector. They're entitled to a fair return on their investment. Therefore, our relationship should be based on fairness, on equity, and on mutual interests. That is the goal to which the government will work to ensure future production contracts resound to the significant benefit of Guyanese without seeking to disincentivize foreign investment. To support government in managing of the oil and gas sector, we will be pursuing various legislative and institutional initiatives. Update to the Petroleum Act, building a capacity and an institutional framework for the audit of expenditure and the drafting of a new production agreement with international standards under which any new production license will fall. But even as I look forward to the establishment of the Petroleum Commission, my government will introduce legislation for consideration by this session of the National Assembly. One of the pieces of legislation will be to fortify in law the local content policy, which is currently undergoing the phase of public consultation. The aim is not only to align the policy with international best practices, particularly regarding reporting and transparency, but also to deliver more business and more jobs to our people. The legislation will be drafted based on the outcome of consultations that I will hold with stakeholders in our society concerning provisions in the law that would best serve our national interests. Guyanese must not be second-class citizens in the oil and gas sector in our own country. They must be its principal beneficiaries, ahead of all and second to none. Thousands of Guyanese will be trained at every level to create a national corps of managers and technicians to effectively administer the sector. For the benefit of this generation of Guyanese and those yet unborn, we'll establish an arm's-length sovereign wealth fund insulated from political interference. Legislation will be enacted to define how finances will flow from the fund into the budget and the purpose for which they will be used. My government also intends to come to the nation for every cent earned from the industry and for every cent that is spent. To accomplish this, legislation will be introduced during this session of the National Assembly, making the Finance Minister and the Finance Secretary responsible for publishing details of all revenue and expenditure in the official gazette, allowing the people to track all transactions. Failure to do so will be punished severely under the law. The revenues from the sector, like all other sectors, are the people's money. They're entitled to know how much money is earned, how much money is spent, and on what it is spent. I've also made it clear to my ministers that transparency and accountability are the fundamental principles by which I expect them and myself to conduct ourselves, and to which I hold them accountable. We are the custodians of the people's asset and will account to them for all that we do. That is why we'll also establish a regulatory framework that is independent of politicians, and why we'll build strong national capability to hold oil companies accountable and to verify production and other expenditures. Mr. Speaker, honorable members of the National Assembly, let me be clear on something. On something else. My government does not intend to allow the oil and gas sector to encourage what is called Dutch disease, which dominates all other sectors of the economy and diminishes them in value and sustainability. Our country must not suffer the fate of other nations that came to depend on oil and gas so substantially that they faced ruin when the sector floundered, contracted, or diminished. Revenues from the oil and gas resources must be used to strengthen the agriculture, mining, manufacturing, and services sector to make them globally competitive so that Guyana can be a resilient nation now and in the future. And that brings me, Mr. Speaker, to the manifesto which my party presented to our nation at the March 2nd general and regional elections. Our manifesto is a statement of my government's ambition for our country. It is an ambition we shall aim to fulfill. Like all ambitions, we shall have to mold it to life's changeable realities, to the realities of Guyana as impacted by the world of which we are a part. It is a path we shall follow in fulfillment of our dream for Guyana. There will be times when we pause to check our bearings, times when our bearings call for variable tracks, but our goals will be constant and our promises secure. We shall do so over the life of the government. Fulfillment cannot be instant in all matters. Some will be delayed by circumstances. But you will have no cause to doubt or resolve to keep our promises. Mr. Speaker, without going into the detail of every pledge in our manifesto, which remains publicly available on the internet, my government will strive to honor in our period in office every aspect, every promise, every commitment. Let me mention here a few that must command immediate attention. We stated quite clearly that our objective is to create 50,000 jobs. That goal, which once seemed distant and impossible, is now within our nation's reach, made possible by the transformative agenda of government that will see the expansion of construction, investment in mega-scale infrastructure, reduced costs of energy, leading to industrialization and upscale agro-processing and manufacturing, environmental services, engineering services, and a spin-off of major private sector investments in new hotels and shore-based facilities. The area of logistics and energy security would also see massive investments and opportunities. These, supported by the revitalization of our agriculture sector, support of mining, and expansion in quarrying will pave the way for job creation. Even with inadequate shipping facilities, we already supply fish, vegetables, and fruit to regional markets, and even further afield to our diaspora communities in the US, Canada, and the United Kingdom. An example of the market opportunities available to increase agriculture and fisheries production is that last year, the countries of the Caribbean community imported more than US $5 billion worth of food. This gives every reason why our farmers, including our rice farmers, should seek a significant share of that market. Therefore, my government will give every assistance to farmers by improving drainage and irrigation, by incentivizing young people to pursue farming as profitable careers, providing concessions for large-scale farming, removal of VAT on machinery, equipment, fertilizer, and pesticides, and providing grants and a support system for small farmers. We intend to do the same for fisheries, manufacturing and forestry, by providing incentives, concessions, and support. We want our farmers, fisherfolk, miners, and livestock growers to think globally as they develop and increase their production and the marketing of their products. My government is committed to providing the infrastructural framework in which these enterprises can develop and expand, improving directly the lives of all who invest their efforts in them, and benefiting our country as a whole indirectly by increasing its wealth and the welfare of our people. Mr. Speaker, I say a special word about sugar. Sugar is more to us as a people than a mere agricultural crop. In a real sense, it represents our beginnings as a Guyanese nation. Yes, our ancestors were brought from different lands to the place of our forest people, the Amerindian Guyanese. But sugar was the start of the fashioning of our identity as Guyanese and our struggle as one people to end colonialism and exploitation and to take control of our destiny. Dr. Shadi Jagan once observed that both Afro-Guyanese and Indo-Guyanese watered the sugarcane fields with their blood. We should all ponder that thought. Those sugarcane fields in which our ancestors toiled and in which their blood was shed represents the shared exploitation of our people. Well, the blood, sweat, and tears of our people should never again water fields for any exploiter. In the words of the Jamaican-American poet Claude McKay, and I quote, "If we must die, let it not be like hogs, haunted and penned in an inglorious spot, while wrongers bark the mad and hungry dogs, making their mock at our accursed lot. If we must die, oh, let us nobly die, so that our precious blood may not be shed in vain." All of this is why we Guyanese must resolve to nurture and care for what we have built together and never allow the circumstances to arise where we dilute our oneness or weaken our one Guyana. Sugar symbolizes all that. But even more, sugar still has every possibility of continuing to provide jobs, revenues, and modern skills to our people while providing them with dignity. In resuscitating the industry, I've already directed a detailed revitalization plan for every estate, whilst we're examining possible private investment to support the diversification, expansion, and modernization of the industry, leading to its sustainability and economic viability. Mr. Speaker, every Guyanese aspires to a better quality of life. Each of us wants a home, reliable electricity, water when we turn on the taps, education for our children, health facilities, and a job that will allow us to pay for those things. That is why job creation is at the top of my government's priority. But we recognize that while we create the conditions for more jobs and better incomes, there are immediate steps that must be taken to improve the living conditions for all. That is why we have removed VAT on electricity, water, medicines, and certain food items. That is also why we'll upgrade health facilities across the country, including expansion of diagnostic services, such as CT scans, ultrasound, and echocardiogram at key regional hospitals, as well as improve ambulance services. We will also focus major investments to address issues of mental health, reproductive health, and invest in a state-of-the-art maternity and children's hospital. We'll also create the enabling environment to drive private investment in healthcare, thus making Guyana a regional and international hub for health services. We will also ensure that that there is an adequate supply of pharmaceuticals and medical supplies, with a focus on timely procurement, proper storage, and reliable delivery to hospitals and health centers. Very aware that our medical practitioners, doctors, and nurses are in the front line of maintaining the health of our people, particularly now. We intend to improve conditions of services and remuneration for healthcare workers generally. And let me take this opportunity at this Parliament, the highest decision-making body of our nation, to express publicly our deepest appreciation and gratitude to the medical personnel who have risked their own health to help our nations in the battle against the COVID-19 pandemic. Even as I note that the battle is far from over and more will be expected of them, I thank them most sincerely on behalf of a grateful nation. And I call on all here gathered to applaud their effort with respect. As a nation, we will not be judged only by the way we treat human beings, but we must also pay particular attention to the environment, our natural heritage, and the way we treat animals. My government will support initiatives and invest in programs that address all these issues, sometimes referred to as soft issues, but which importantly adds to the story of who we are as Guyanese. Mr. Speaker, Guyana is blessed with an abundance of natural resources that provides opportunities for every Guyanese. Few other countries in the world can boast of being home to gold, diamond, bauxite, sugar, rice, cattle, and other livestock, forestry, oil and gas, abundant agricultural lands, fresh water, and tourism. There is no reason for our country to be poor or for our people to want. We together have to take hold of these natural resources that have been gifted to us and turn them into national treasure. My government intends to lay down the infrastructure that will result in the full utilization of these resources. Mr. Speaker, I do not wish to preempt the budget that will be presented to the National Assembly in a few hours. Our development plan will be set out in granular details in the budget. However, I give the Honorable House and the Guyanese public insights into elements of our development plan, including some of what we are doing and why we are doing them. We plan to expand our road system across the country, including community roads and hinterland roads. We'll also build a bypass road with connections to Maka, Eccles, and the Damrar Harbour Bridge. We'll initiate work on several transformative infrastructural projects that will take years to complete, but we'll start them. They'll include the Deepwater Harbour in Berbice, support the shore-based facilities, support the private investment that will see new branded hotels, support agriculture that will see mega investments in large-scale agriculture, opening up of new lands through the construction of farm-to-market access roads, commencement of the Linden to Lethem Road, 4-lane highway from Georgetown to Timeri, commencement of the Parika to Goshen Road link to Bartika, upgrade and development of new all-terrain roads links from Timeri to Bartika, upgrade of regional airports, and building of new ferries. The construction of a 4-lane link between Mandel and Diamond with interconnection to the existing highways to reduce travel time. Completion of the new Damrar River Bridge. The construction of a new superhighway from Schooner to Parika. We are working with our neighbor Suriname to establish a Quarantine River Bridge, which would have great benefits for the private sector in enlarging markets, expanding the scale of business, and increasing employment. Mr. Speaker, we are very conscious of the rich but fragile environment with which we have been endowed by nature. As promised in our manifesto, the government will reinstitute an expanded low-carbon development strategy. The strategy, as it is as it is now, will be broadened to include wider environmental services, water resources management, climate resilience, biodiversity, renewable energy, and the marine economy. We believe that this strategy would allow Guyana to earn substantial revenue that can be utilized to diversify the economy and create employment opportunities for our people, as we did previously under the Norway Agreement. In this agreement, we can earn hundreds of millions of US dollars, as we have established in our earlier arrangement with the Norwegians. From this agreement, we seek to ensure the creation of new clean jobs. We also intend for the benefits from the payment of ecosystem services to flow to all Guyanese, especially our indigenous communities, where first prior informed consent principles and the opt-in mechanism should strictly be observed. The expanded LCDS will also include the establishment of an International Center of Excellence for Biological Diversity with the objective of promoting cutting-edge research and developing and exporting educational services. The national strategy will also seek to strengthen the institutional mandate of the Environmental Protection Agency by providing an empowering regulatory framework to guide economic growth initiatives. This also means that the national system of protected areas will also be strengthened and expanded in accordance with international standards of environmental integrity. Finally, the expanded LCDS will provide opportunities to our people by creating avenues that will provide grants for startup businesses of a renewable energy nature. Beyond the management of our natural resources, the expanded LCDS will also ensure the increase of land management and access to land is addressed. This will be done by the establishment of a formal interagency mechanism with the intention to coordinate among key sectors to address various land use conflicts in Guyana via the implementation of the land use policy. The implementation of this policy is also expected to be implemented with a regional dimension that will ensure to incorporate the interests of both residential and commercial users. The expanded LCDS will guide our developmental trajectory along an inclusive, low-carbon, sustainable, clean, resilient path with increased economic opportunities and investment linked to greater social and infrastructural development for the benefit of all. Mr. Speaker, beyond the richness of our natural resources, Guyana has no greater wealth than its people. We recognize that human capital development is crucial for inclusive economic growth and transformation. And it is the responsibility of government to ensure that its people are prepared for this change. Therefore, my government will ensure that all Guyanese are equipped for transformation in the economy by identifying employment-intensive sectors and ensuring that our people are trained to enable them to meet the demand of these sectors. Investing in Guyanese is not only good for economy, but has broader equity and welfare implications. With rapid change in technology, we recognize that investing in our people is pivotal. Our move towards knowledge-intensive industries will also enable greater participation from female Guyanese and help to reduce the gender gap in our society. These fields are expected to see higher future demand as our economy continues along its diversification path and will be supported by the 20,000 scholarship programs, expansion and improvement in educational facilities, expansion and use of ICT in education, enhancement of opportunities in technical vocational education, curricular reform, establishment of an online university to promote e-learning, and provision of textbooks to our school children, among other things. The drive towards diversification and sustainable employment requires a vibrant private sector to absorb labor and a labor market that allows flexibility, skill building, and reasonable compensation. My government will continue to work with the private sector, recognizing that they're the backbone of any economy. Our local companies must be given a level platform to compete. Training and capacity building initiatives, along with the transfer of skills and technology, are important to this process. We are cognizant that there are impediments to businesses providing goods and services to the oil and gas sector, especially in the area of finance and cost optimization. My government will ensure that our regulatory frameworks are conducive for local companies that work in this sector, so that they can garner the necessary resources needed to take advantage of these new opportunities. Our economy is changing, and we have to ensure that our policies are flexible and fit for purpose. These incentives will ensure that our Guyanese people continue to prosper and truly benefit from the oil and gas sector. It is our firm belief that the Guyanese people are the greatest asset that the nation possesses. In supporting the new economy, my government understands the necessity of developing skills in emerging areas such as oil and gas, agro-processing, industrialization, manufacturing, climate change, environmental services, biodiversity, sustainable tourism management, and aquaculture, whilst at the same time strengthening our capacity in the traditional sectors with the aim of making them more productive and competitive. Mr. Speaker, our potential to become a major player in the energy market is not only limited to our borders, but we have already commenced discussion with our neighbors, Brazil and Suriname, in the establishment of an energy corridor. Guyana's energy security will be driven by an energy mix that will see solar, wind, hydro, natural gas, all being key components in making us the energy capital of the region. This, of course, will see tremendous investment in manufacturing and industrial development that will be supported by the Gas to Shore project, the natural gas plant, and the establishment of the Wales Development Authority. We have already received numerous proposals from major manufacturers looking at Guyana as their next investment destination. To support the growing demand and potential for commodity trading, government will be establishing free zones to facilitate trade and open up new opportunities. These investments will also see the expansion of the hinterland electrification program and the development of microgrids for large hinterland villages for off-grid areas. Mr. Speaker, no country or society can progress without the safety and security of its people. We have committed to the reform of the security sector, the update of laws, strengthening of capacity, and building institutions that will support our plans and programs for safer communities and country. We have already commenced tackling crime with the involvement of people. To this end, we're strengthening community policing, intelligence services, and widening focus on making existing institutions stronger. We're investing in new and appropriate technologies, providing tools and equipment to allow for better response to crime and more proactive policing, whilst at the same time, we're working on the improvement of welfare and conditions of service for our men and women in uniform. Critical to the strategic approach to crime fighting is a strengthening of the regionalized structure of the Guyana Police Force. Greater integration with interest groups and stakeholders at the regional level will be facilitated to improve accountability and transparency in crime fighting. We'll also be strengthening our ability to secure our borders with the establishment of a border patrol unit. Special legislation is being drafted to give effect to this. Mr. Speaker, when my government's budget 2021 is presented to the National Assembly, and when my ministers contribute to the debate, greater details will be provided on the implementation of our manifesto pledges, covering more aspects than I have mentioned in this address. However, I want to speak myself on the matter of partnerships between government and representative bodies in the governance of our one Guyana. The watchword for the governance of our country must be partnership. I propose to have regular high-level consultations with the representatives of the private sector, the trade unions, religious bodies, and other civil society groups to address key issues that confront our nation. I intend also to directly engage communities and community leaders across every village in building trust and deepening relationship to the benefit of the people of those communities. And I propose to do this personally, leading this personally. Every village, every community, we will build trust, we will win hearts, and we will develop in the interest of the people of this country. With these representatives, it is my desire that consensus will be found on how to tackle these issues effectively. I've encouraged my ministers to establish similar consultative machinery so that in making decisions, government can be advised by the best brains and talent in every area of our national endeavor. And the hand of partnership will be extended to the Guyanese diaspora. It is my intention to enhance the oversight of diaspora affairs so that we can maintain meaningful links to the diaspora and for convening meetings with their organizations. In this connection, we're in the process of establishing a diaspora council to engage the government in a structured and regular manner. Our diaspora is a source of investment, of talent, and of knowledge, all of which can benefit our nation. They can also be an important influential body in the countries where they have made their second homes for promoting the interests of Guyana. Mr. Speaker, all must be involved. All must be consumed. Mr. Speaker, my government understands the importance of youths in development of the country. It is for this reason I have established the soon-to-be operationalized Youth Advisory Council, which will be at the heartbeat of policy making. Our support for young people will go beyond education, health, and sports. We'll be establishing a special development, innovation, and research fund to stimulate new business ideas and to create a space for youth participation in the new economy. Young people can expect investments in every region that will give access to state-of-the-art sporting facilities and, importantly, incentivizing participation in the creative industry. Our support to cultural development and the creative industry will be critically linked to our tourism and hospitality sector. Home ownership for young people with support from the banking sector is also a top priority for my government. Mr. Speaker, all of which I spoke is dependent on the institutions, systems, and various arms of government, understanding their distinct role in the common future for our country. Whilst the arms of government are separate, they must all assess the direction of the country and build the relevant institutional capacity to meet the demands of the future. This of course, requires training, retraining, retooling, and expansion of the existing framework in which they operate. To support this, my government will unfold a legislative agenda that will create the statutory and legal foundation on which a new and modern Guyana will rest. This will require the modernization of archaic laws an introduction of a new set of laws to reflect the changing nature of our new economy. However, the legislative agenda must be people-focused, making it easier and less costly to do business, whilst at the same time creating a more efficient and affordable system to give justice to the ordinary man. Mr. Speaker, in closing, I wish to share just a few targets my government will pursue over the next 5 years in key areas. We believe that we must be held accountable. And in holding us accountable, you must know where your country is going. You must know the targets. Therefore, I wish to share just a few of those targets. In the area of energy, we propose to have the development of a world-class energy mix, installation of 400 megawatts of new installed capacity, inclusive of hydropower, solar, wind, and natural gas, reduction of electricity costs for households and businesses, making Guyana's energy costs globally competitive, working with Brazil and Suriname to create a new energy corridor, and outlining a clear path to become a net energy exporter. In the area of the environment, we'll be adopting expanded LCDS as our national development framework to create opportunities to tap into and earn hundreds of millions of US dollars through the sale of environmental services. Our Vice President will be leading these efforts. Much has already started, and we are confident about the returns that can come to Guyana. We did it before, and we will do it again. Establishing a world-class biodiversity center, pursuing opportunities for payment of ecosystem services, incentivize good environmental performance in the private sector. The private sector also have a role, and we are going to support them in that role. In the area of infrastructure transformation, opening up of hundreds of thousands of acres of agricultural lands through the investment in farm-to-market roads and drainage and irrigation systems. New superhighways on West Demerara, East Coast and East Bank corridors. A new Demerara River Bridge crossing. Support private investment in new hotels, adding at least 2,000 more rooms to our stock. Creating an environment to make Guyana a major logistics hub. New shore base and harbor facilities supported by government policies and planning. Investment in new ferries and capital drainage equipment to improve efficiency of our ports. You know, one of the major difficulties of our port is the dredging of the Demerara River. And it has caused our ports to become very inefficient. We are going to invest in the capital equipment to resolve this issue and make our ports viable, sustainable, and operate at an optimal manner. Commencement of the Linden to Lethem Road Highway, creating an infrastructure that will see more investment in agro-processing and manufacturing, supported by a ballooning of engineering services. Creation of new road networks in the hinterland and riverine communities. A new road and river link between Timeri and Bartica. Commencements of work on the Parika to Goshen Road. Investment in key transformative infrastructure in the hinterland, Region 10, 2, 6, and 9. Modernization of our community roads across all regions, and investment in hinterland and regional airstrips to boost our tourism product. Already, on a bright side, we have been able in just 6 months to bring forward the approval of the new 4-lane highway from Ogle to Eccles, funded by the Indian government by almost 1 year. Today we received the news that all the approval has been given in India and we are now moving to the procurement stage. This is a project that was delayed for almost 7 years. Today, we are on the journey of accomplishing this and bringing relief to the people of Guyana. Human resources. Building a world-class and highly skilled and literate population. Investing in technical and vocational education, leading to international certification. Creating opportunities for training, retraining and retooling of our human resource to meet the future demands of the economy. Conducting a market-driven analysis as a basis on which our education system will be geared to ensure that there is a right match between educational output and economic output. On the positive side, we are in advanced stage of discussion to have our own Institute of Oil and Gas here in Guyana. In the area of technology, we will see the creation of a master plan for ICT development in Guyana. Investment in technology to improve our competitiveness, efficiency, transparency, and reliability. Moving government services towards a paperless environment. Ensuring every child leaves school computer literate. Investing in a patient care management system that will see every Guyanese connected through one card. Expanding access to internet services across all communities. Reduction in the cost of data to individuals and households. Increasing the number of persons using the internet from 36% by 100% by the end of our 5-year. Increasing the number of households having access to computer from 31% by 100% in 5 years. Investment in technology that will increase competitiveness in doing business and breaking down barriers. Investment in software development that will reduce time to processing construction permit, getting electricity and water connection by 50%. Important to all of this, we must have world-class social services. You will see public and private investment that will see world-class healthcare system acting as a net foreign currency earner for our country. Already, we have tremendous interest in this area. And I'm very delighted that many Guyanese are coming together in pursuing this interest also. You'll see specialized health care for maternity and children's services, comprehensive and reliable access to primary health care across every region, world-class educational facilities as incentivizing private investment, building of sustainable communities in achieving the 50,000 house lots, commencement of a new, modern, sustainable secondary city. In addition to the provision of free university education during this term and the granting of 20,000 scholarships, you will also see this establishment of an internationally accredited oil and gas institute Investment will be made in training and increasing the quantity of educators while modernizing the curriculum, expanding the use of technology and improving educational facilities. The mix of new communities and infrastructure links will be geared towards reduction in traffic congestion, improvement in road safety, the physical security of our people, expansion of affordable homes, and quantum leap in the eradication of squatting. Investment in water resources to ensure 100% access by every community and expanded treated water coverage to at least 70% of the population. Direct investment and allocation will be placed in the national budget to support persons with disabilities. Direct investments and allocations will be made to support associations and organizations in our efforts to prevent cruelty against animals. Specific provisions will be made to support mental health and reproductive health. Important to the achievement of all these targets is a sound, stable, and viable macroeconomic framework. The aim is to create an environment that will ensure our competitiveness, diversify the economy, support sound monetary and fiscal policies, whilst enhancing transparency in a pro-poor approach to growth and development. Whilst we're targeting high economic growth rate, this acceleration must, and I emphasize, must be managed to minimize the risk of overheating. Our focus will be on maintaining exchange rate stability and managing inflation in lower single digits, rebuilding our depleted foreign reserves, and diversification of new industries for large-scale plantation-type agriculture, including aquaculture, among other things. I'm pleased to say that we have already managed to bring our livestock producers together. And with the enthusiasm, private investment, and public investment, we anticipate that all the protein needs in the production of feed will be produced locally. All the corn, all the soybean. We will support businesses. We will support the private sector. We will support workers. Let me be clear. Every single worker, public sector workers, whether you're nurses, doctors, members of the judiciary, I assure you, by the end of our 5th year, not only will you be better off from a salaries perspective, but the benefits, the society in which you live, and the services that will be delivered to you would enable you to live a good life, a great life in Guyana. No more must the dream be to exit the shores. There's a bright future ahead. Let us embrace it. Let us support it. Dream big. Your government will support those dreams. Mr. Speaker, there is no end to the manifesto tasks that lie ahead. For there is no end to the efforts we must make for the homeland. We all want Guyana to be, for each of us, and for all of us, and for the generations that will follow, the best it can be. to build that home, it would not be right for us to forget or neglect our obligations beyond our shores. In the Caribbean community, in the Americas, in the world of small states, and in global affairs. For we are not an island unto ourselves. We owe a special debt to CARICOM for helping to ensure that we could sit in this democratically elected parliament today. It is one we shall never forget as we work to build a Caribbean community worthy of the highest ideals of regional integration. Nor will we be neglectful of members of the international community who kept vigil with us. Canada, the United States, the European Union, and the United Kingdom, among others, will honor their vigilance for us by joining them in pursuing the values of equality, of peace, and of the rule of law worldwide. Mr. Speaker, for too long, our country has been held ransom to the ambitions of partisan politics and the narrowness of partisan ambition. It is time to set those impostors aside and to embrace in their place the virtuous cause of patriotic duty, a commitment my government has made already. Guyana and the Guyanese people will deserve no less. They have endured enough. We are at a decisive moment in our history, with a greater opportunity than previous parliaments to make our country a better place than it has ever been. This is the honor and challenge that time and events have laid at our door. We must, each of us, live up to it. The people of Guyana expect us to not spend our time squabbling and bickering. They want us to find common ground on which we can build a nation, in which they're safe and their children's future is secure. I pledge myself to that task. And I urge every representative in the National Assembly to join me in striving for its fulfillment. There can be no task more fulfilling, no task more honorable, no task more noble. Let us together run with endurance the race God has set before us. God bless you. God bless our beloved country. And may God bless our joint endeavors. I thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency, President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. Honorable members, first let me correct the faux pas. I want to apologize and recognize the First Lady, Ms. Arya Ali. I also want to sleep in my bed tonight, and I recognize the Mrs. Maria Nadir, my wife. Also joining us, we have Colonel Brigadier Bess from the Guyana Defense Force, Commissioner Hoppy, Prison Service Director Elliott, Fire Service Idu, all here with us today. Mr. President, we want to thank you very much for that all-encompassing address, sharing the vision for your government for the next 5 years, and more particularly, establishing tangible targets which our people can judge you and your government by. On behalf of the National Assembly, we congratulate you on your election, and we pray that you and your government will be given the divine strength, vision to accomplish these noble objectives for the benefit of all of our people of Guyana. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Honorable members, we will now take a suspension and you will hear the bell when we are ready to resume our business for the day. Thank you. Mr. President.
It is 15 hours 33 on the clock. You were listening to the President, Dr. Muhammad Irfan Ali, address to the 12th Parliament.
Muhammad Irfan Ali. And Narissa, it went just over an hour, but quite a number of things.
You're listening to 93.1 Real FM, the home of hit music.
Look down from your window, no big city lights, just greenery. I don't know what you come for. Listen up, my dear, we're such a man free. Welcome to the land of many faces, not one, not two, but 6 different races. You know when the sun kisses your skin, you're in the right place. G-U-I-A-N-A, oh, that's my beautiful country. G-U-I-A-N-A, one people, one nation, one destiny. Don't stop for a minute. Come, let me take a walk, right, brother, take it. You'll see our landmarks and our monuments. They're so unique. The hybrid structure, the lighthouse, the tallest wooden structures, cathedral, 176th Street, monuments, and the beautiful city hall. You know with the wind in your hair, you're in the right place. G-U-I-A-N-A, oh, that's my beautiful country. G-U-I-A-N-A, one people, one nation, one destiny. Look down from your window, no big city lights, just greenery. You don't know what you come for. Listen up, my dear, we're such a man free. Welcome to the land of many faces, not one, not two, but 6 different races. You know when the sun kisses your skin, you're in the right place. G-U-I-A-N-A, oh, that's my beautiful country.
Happy birthday greetings going out to Viola Young. Greetings from your 2 adorable sons, your mother, your sisters, friends, and Guy Bryan. Wishing you all the best today. Happy birthday to you. That's going out to Viola Young. And also birthday greetings going out to Franklin Mingo, celebrating over the weekend. Getting greetings from your lovely wife, Sharon, and the children, and all of your friends and relatives. Thinking about insurance? Think Diamond Insurance. Call 223-977123. That's 223-977123. Diamond Insurance time, it is 15 hours 37.
Can you hear?
Great news! Qualfin Guyana's $30,000 Jumpstart Your Career bonus has been extended. Learn how you can take advantage of this offer during your over-the-phone interview with them. You can become a part of their superior team of customer service representatives by visiting their Facebook page, via text message link, or skilledguyanese.com. Get watches, colognes, cell phones, stand fans, and accessories at E-Wireless Connections, stall A Border Market, opposite the Border Post Office. E-Wireless Connections time, 15 hours 38.
So many beautiful girls in this fete, but I am going home with you tonight. I know this. You could run
done all you want, but I know what I know, cause your body telling me that it want it. When you cock it up and you rock it back, it's fire burn them, fire burn them, fire, fire. When you take it up and you tack it up, it's fire burn them, fire burn them, fire, fire. Hear it calling from night till morning, saying anytime it's alright. It's telling me, come wine, come wine, come wine me, come wine, come wine, come wine me, come wine, come wine. This thing is serious business. I say hold on, I can hear it clear, no static in the air. I say hold on, I can hear it loud, the sweetest voice coming out. Get them waistline, baby, no don't you stop. Get them waistline, darling, no holding back. When you cock it up and you rock it back, it's fire burn them, fire burn them, fire, fire. When you take it up and you tack it up, it's fire burn them, fire burn them, fire, fire. Hear it calling from night till morning, saying anytime it's alright. It's telling me, come wine, come wine, come wine me, come wine, come wine, come wine me, come wine, come wine. This thing is serious business. I say hold on, I can hear it loud. Hold on, I can hear it clear. Hold on, I can hear it loud. Come wine me, come wine. Hold on, I can hear it clear. Come wine me. When you cock it up and you rock it back, it's fire burn them, fire burn them, fire, fire. When you take it up and you tack it up, it's fire burn them, fire burn them, fire, fire. Hear it calling from night till morning, saying anytime it's alright. It's telling me, come wine, come wine, come wine me, come wine, come wine, come wine me, come wine, come wine. This thing is serious business.
Oh, baby. Yeah. My check, my love. Una dos, una dos. Yeah. Me and you and me. That's the way it's supposed to be. On the dance floor. A thousand people in here, but you're the only one I see on the dance floor. Baby, just me and you alone. 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 Oh yeah, just me and you alone. Huh. I saw you from across the room, girl. Then you set me off of my feet like a broom, girl. I know you were the one when I laid my eyes on you. I see you watching me, girl. Tell me what you want. You make me feel so good when I'm next to you. I wanna squeeze and hold and caress you. When you lead and I'll follow, we'll dance till
Play Jackpot Fruits, the Blast Gaming Center time. It is 15 hours 42. Get your cell phones, blenders, microwaves, toasters, vacuum cleaners, water pumps, televisions, DVD players, all at eWireless Connections. Stalled A Border Market opposite the Border Post Office. Also available are Lasco fans with and without remote, transformers, steam irons, TV wall brackets, stand fans, stabilizers, and more home appliances. So remember to check eWireless Connections. Stall A Border Market opposite the Border Post Office. Call 227-3404 or 223-5262. eWireless Connections. Go for the price. Stay for the service.
you feel so goddamn good inside my arms, girl. I had a rough day today, but when I'm around you, I feel calm, girl. Come closer to me, girl, let's dance the night away. I wanna be with you, girl, every night.
The buzz in entertainment today, the great Indian kitchen, serving an unsavory tale of sexism in home. She peels, chops, grinds, cooks, serves, does the dishes, sweeps and mops the floor. He eats. She's rushed off her feet. He sits calmly, doing yoga, breathing in, breathing out. That's the story of the great Indian kitchen, a small-budget Malayalam language film that brilliantly captures the nuances of a patriarchal household and brings to light the horrors of everyday life. Already being called the breakout film of the year, the drama that unfolds in a dark, grimy kitchen in a respectable middle-class home has become a huge talking point in the southern state of Kerala and on social media, and raised many unsettling questions about insidious sexism within homes. J.O. Baby, the film's director, says it's a universal story. As women's struggle in the kitchen is the story of almost all women in India. Men think women are machines for making tea and washing clothes and raising kids. The inspiration for the great Indian kitchen, he says, came to him in his own kitchen. After he got married in 2015, he started spending a lot of time in the kitchen since he believes in gender equality. That's when, he says, I realized that cooking involves a lot of heavy lifting. After a while, he says, he started thinking about how to escape the kitchen, the drudgery, the monotony, and the repetitiveness. The film opens with a wedding. Like a majority of Indian marriages, this one is arranged too. The bride and the groom, played by lead actors Namisha and Suraj, who have met just once before, surrounded by family and have shared a stilted conversation. Once the festivities are over, the guests have left, the daily drudgery starts. The film, which is streaming on NeStream app after it was rejected by Netflix and Amazon, has won rave reviews from the critics and audiences, especially from women. That's the buzz in entertainment. Avoid the hassle of parking. Visit or call Diamond Insurance on 223-97-721-3 for all your insurance needs. Diamond Insurance times, 15 hours, 46. Just about all the time we have on the lunch pad today. Certainly hope you all can join us tomorrow, Friday, for another edition of the lunch pad. And thanks to those of you who've been with us on Facebook, streaming us live on our mobile app, and listening at home in your vehicles or at work. Certainly hope you can continue to stay safe from COVID and join us again tomorrow. Making way for the Drive Time hit list with Select Your Face and DJ Reality after the news in detail at 4 o'clock.
My friends, and if you bring your friends and we friends, we'll all like together.